Foreigners are just gods. They are the gods. I've become a pagan. I worship literally every foreigner on Earth now. That's my faith.
They're all just Zeus and Thor and Odin reincarnated.
You hear that? Vikings were not the same. Anyway, my point being that there's something wrong with the way people in Britain and widely the West think about people who are not them, as if they are superhumans who just don't have any of the same problems we have, and in fact only have benefits. And even have benefits that we can't, such as being able to make coffee in Pret. Not something an Englishman can do. Literally impossible.
No, our deformed hands, they just can't wrap around the coffee cups.
At least this is something Generation X seem to believe. Seeing, the interviews you see in the middle class from there. That's why I'm mentioning just first on the website the Premium Hangout Carl did of Generation X versus Generation Z and the problems therein. But amazingly, Generation X could make coffee in Pret, and then all at once a time, they suddenly can't anymore. No, the Generation Z. No, why would they?
Everyone born in the 20th century was a mistake, and I include myself in that.
Okay. Well, we'll move on to the net migration statistics, just to get the lay of the land, in case someone doesn't know. If you scroll down this so we can get the graph, then you can see that once upon a time, back in the before 1997, there was migration, and it wasn't insane. It was below 100,000 net per year. So we still have people coming in. It's still population growth from immigration, but not the literal madness of post-1997 of how many more you got. You got any more?
It all changed when the Blairites attacked.
Yes, and they've been in power ever since. Which leads to, subsequently, next image, which is, there you are, how things gone. It's like, there's population of foreign-born over time, and strangely enough, since the 2000s, it skyrockets. I mean, you've already got like a large population to integrate, but why not make it bigger? Why not keep digging the hole? If we go to the graph of house prices in the UK, something happened in the 1990s. Still waiting to figure out what.
I don't know, man. Maybe supply chain issues? You tell me.
We'll get back to you once we figured out what happened in the 1990s, which hugely increased demand for houses.
I think it's all those babies English people are having. We're just having far too many.
And you might think from that conclusion, in which I have, and I will shut up eventually one day about it, like buy a house, and maybe, okay, this is a problem, low immigration, and then, we could maybe get our kids a house. No, of course, because we have bigger problems, such as who will make the coffee in Pret. And if you go to the next link here, we can see that old classic, an old beautiful clip, which I'm going to play in full because I think we've missed it, frankly, just how beautiful it was. Let's enjoy this disgustingly middle-class woman asking the question that's on our lips. Let's play.
For anybody else here who works in London, who would be serving our coffee in Pret? Who would be selling us our sandwiches in Pret? You're not going to get English people to take those jobs. But as I understand it, your point...
I'm sorry, all of the women sat around her just smiling and nodding along. I'm sorry, this is her fault. We need to take the vote away from women.
No, I mean, specifically, I can see this in extremely middle-class, well-to-do women who just think that...
Well, if you want to narrow it down, we can take the vote away from them specifically.
Sure, it's more the point that I don't think they see their kids as ever making the coffee in Pret. They can't envision that. They see their kids as working as an intern in some office job wherever their husband works.
Those like, my day in a life as a Chicago tech employee. They see their kids as that.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think this class of people can ever understand that, yes, some of us, have worked in shops or washed plates. It's possible, it turns out. It's not just like the foreigners who are just beautiful gods who have learned how to wash plates, and no one else, we've forgotten that knowledge in England. It's being kept from us. The foreigners are keeping it closely guarded. How to serve coffee in Pret and all the other jobs, which he says.
You know when they
English
talk about, like in old movies, about ancient Chinese secrets?
Yes.
Those were the secrets.
Well, this is indeed one. And her sentiment and her worldview is shared by many, including the people in charge of business in this country. So the CBI boss comes out and says, solve worker shortages with immigration. Remember that graph from earlier? Remember how it hasn't gone down in the slightest? Yeah, not enough. Not enough is what they're saying to us. It's like, I know we have literal mass migration every single year of 200 to 300,000 people a year. There's untold numbers coming in every single year. Net, not gross, net. And the complaint is, well, that's not enough. What do you want? 600,000? How about 2 million a year? Nothing will ever be enough for these people.
Well, how many until we're literally pushing ourselves off of the edges of the island. And the interesting thing about this is it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because you get worker shortages, so you import more people in so that they're able to fill those worker shortages. Then all of a sudden, with all those extra people, also have services and goods and other such things that they need to buy, which means that you're putting more pressure on the services industries, and then you have to have more people imported so that you can fill in the new worker shortages, because you've not got enough
actually
people.
Increasing productivity at any point. You're just adding more people. Like, this is not, you've invented some new things that make these jobs more productive, and therefore we have greater output and everyone can have their wages go up and whatnot. Instead, you're just like, pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
That's the best and brightest we have.
We'll just have them running on the eternal hamster wheel.
Yeah. So Tony Danker over here called on politicians to be practical about immigration at the CBI's conference in Birmingham. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said he wanted to attract the best talent from around the world, but also tackle illegal immigration. There's your conflict there.
Rishi, if you're representative of that talent from around the world, I think I'll pass.
No, but also he's like, yeah, I want to deal with illegal immigration. That legal stuff, though. Let's give me more of that. Quote, first, we have lost hundreds of thousands of people to economic inactivity post-COVID, said the CBI boy. And anyone who thinks they'll be coming back any day now, with the NHS under the pressure is kidding themselves. It's like, okay. We still have loads of people who just can work and aren't. Because, we just hand out money left, right, and centre. That's why we're in this mess. You may remember. Maybe you don't. I don't know. You just pyramid scheme. Just need the pyramid scheme, bro. Secondly, we don't have enough Brits to go round for the vaccines that exist. That's not our context. Like, that's the next line in his speech.
So we've still got all these unused vax.
Yeah, his complaint
is... So
is...
we need to import people so that we can jab them.
A bunch of people have got really sick. Let's just assume that's the case. Everyone who's not working is just sick and therefore can't work for the rest of their lives. Okay, sure. Secondly, we don't have enough Brits to go around for the vaccines that exist, says the guy in charge of British industry.
That's some Jackie Chan level mental martial arts.
No,
he's just thrown out there.
I know everyone thought like maybe they'll try and hide the conspiracy. No, just say it publicly. We got too many and we need to get rid of them. And there's a skill mismatch in any case, he writes. Okay.
So just give the vaxes away.
Just
give them, like, what country needs them? There you go. Here you go.
Zimbabwe. Enjoy. Anyway, according to the figures of the ONS, net migration to the UK was estimated to be about 239,000 people in the year ending in June 2021. Because indeed, a global lockdown has slowed migration. A whole 70,000 people. It's still up. Hundreds of thousands. Which is not normal for Britain.
It was a slight fall from the previous year's figure of 260,000, so we managed to hold back 21,000 with the pandemic. Oh, you don't want to come here, you'll get ill.
If only we had that extra 21,000, this guy would be fine. Pret would be doing glorious. In fact, Pret would be
Pret stonks would be through the roof right now.
Pret would be running the world, I think. The bigger than Raytheon. At the end of all that. Anyway.
Pret starts developing weapons for the US.
It's just, what does he want it to be, exactly? Like, give me the figure. You can't, because none of this is ever thought through. It's just pyramids get bigger, and then pyramid scheme continues to work. This is all your logic can ever be if your system is built on that.
I honestly feel like we need to start charging people with treason.
So Lord Wolfson, as well, who is a prominent advocate of Brexit and the UK's current immigration policy, was
this twat.
He said it was crippling economic growth. This guy is in charge of Next, who gets his money from the pyramid scheme, so he's pro-pyramid scheme. Funny that. Anyway, he says, growth is a precondition to a stable society. Without growth, the NHS gets worse, not better. People's lives get worse, not better. And we lack the resources to get ourselves outside of a zero-carbon world. Don't know what that had to do with the rest of the sentence, but okay. I mean, I do love how they're just throwing things in between. Like, yeah, immigration, we need more immigrants. By the way, we've got too many vaccines. We need more immigrants. Also, we don't have carbon.
Also, climate change is a thing that's happening. Okay.
Randomly thrown in there. Yeah, Britain has had 15 years of low growth and flatlining productivity. We can't afford to repeat. John, if you could go back to that Migration Watch tab earlier, I just want to remind people that he's saying here that we have no growth. We've not had it for 15 years. And the way to get it is more migration, because over the last 15 years we've had huge amounts, and we've had no growth of... I don't know. I really do think maybe it's just the pyramid scheme, and they could not give a crap about any part of reality.
I mean, all of these doctors and entrepreneurs that we've been importing must have just been hampered That's all it was. Hampered by high taxes.
It's more immigrants than ever. Economy not growing.
Yeah, 300,000 doctors a year.
Not enough immigrants. It's just that simple.
300,000 doctors, nurses, and entrepreneurs imported a year. Why aren't we growing?
Yeah, I also get back to it. It's just like growth is important. It's like, yeah, growth in productivity, not just more people. Because it turns out, like the foreigners, I know they are literal gods, but it turns out they also get old. It's not just we Europeans who get, the aging virus. Sorry, we Brits, because Europeans as well are being imported on that basis.
Callum, you're being very short-sighted here. If we just throw more money at the NHS, we can deal with it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Anyway, Bloomberg decided to also promote this crap, as you can see here. They had him on, which is like, okay, yep, establishment does its thing. And we also have someone else who went on LBC at the same time at this conference to declare that care homes need to not pay British workers.
What?
It's just we need more foreigners.
Are you being serious?
Well, they're literally saying we need more foreigners because we can't pay British workers more. I don't want to do that.
Oh, okay.
Not because we can't, but I don't want to.
All right.
It's not in my interest. My profits would be worse. Plus, they might unionize.
Treason.
Anyway, we also have the propaganda, which is just desperate at this point, frankly. Just how bad this is. We have this guy here who's talking about more immigrants. You pay less taxes. I'm just drowning in low taxes right now, my friend. It's unbelievable how little I pay in tax. It's like 0.5%, I heard. Next year, when we get another 300,000 immigrants, it will be 0.1%. Is that not right? No? Highest taxes since the war? Oh dear. Anyway, turns out it's also, just in case you didn't realise, because foreigners are gods, more equals good. Just more equal more good. Go to the next one here. We can see that logic play out, which is just, trust me. There you are. There we are. We have Professor of Economics at the London School of Economics, who has come to tell us.
Is this not Lord Wolfson?
I think this is Lord Wolfson's assistant.
Okay.
Who was
his economic advisor.
On all matters, immigration and economic, and how to drink tea. I don't know. Anyway, more immigration, make economy do more gooder. That is unironically what we're being presented with, is if we are stupider than actual cavemen. I don't know why anyone would believe this, but that's the thing. The propaganda is desperately desperate. If we go to Rishi Sunak, he's decided to also come up with the news, which is he wants to get an EU agreement, which totally isn't rejoining the EU. It's just aligning with the EU on immigration. You know that Brexit
treason.
thing? You know that Brexit thing? I think it had something to do with immigration. I think it was that we weren't having enough from Europe.
No, the only argument anyone ever made about Brexit was an economic argument.
Yeah, nothing.
That's what I remember.
Quotes in here. It follows reports when some in government want to move towards a Swiss-style deal with the EU, with less trading friction and more migration. You'll notice ministers in government who want that. None of the public. Because, that was the whole friggin' point. Anyway.
It's so difficult to not just, throw things during these segments, I swear.
Mr. Sunak told business leaders that control of migration was one of the immediate benefits of Brexit, which is why I'm giving it away. It's just, okay. He argued that the UK is now able to have proper control of its borders, which is why he's proposing rejoining the EU.
The whole argument is this: now we have control to open them up even more.
Well, it's not even that. He's like, I am glad that I have control of the borders. It's so good to be able to give it away. I have the choice to give it away now, whereas before I'd already given it away. Fantastic. If we go to the immigration minister, he apparently isn't retarded. Because he just came out and said, that's dumb. I'm not doing that. He just said, we disagree with the CBI. There are still 5 million Britons not economically active. It's like, yeah, it's almost like the Brits could make the coffee and prep. Big Rob could be your man making the coffee. In fact, Big Rob might do a strikingly good job at the small talk as well. But anyway, we'll go to Gosport, though, because Gosport has some good news about why actually Mr. Jenkins is wrong. And indeed, foreigners are just gods. They bring jobs to our economy. Don't you know? No, the illegal ones might not be bringing doctors, lawyers, and engineers, but they're bringing immigration centre jobs. Didn't think of that, did you? More immigrants, more immigration centres, more jobs.
I know. Yeah, but who? But eventually, when we've got so many immigrants, who will be running the immigration centres? Perhaps the immigrants themselves.
See, the thing is, we open more and more immigration centres. All right, stay with me, folks. Around England,
all right.
And it hires more and more people. That means more and more jobs, which means that we get to the point in which everyone in England is employed, and then we start importing immigrants to run the immigration centres. And then, it'll just never end because there's like 8 billion people. We'll just keep going. By the time we run out of people, it'll be like 2,500. Who cares?
Genius.
Literal pyramid scheme.
Somebody get this man a prize.
But it's
I
just-
don't care which one, just give him a prize.
I just can't get over how every one of these arguments is, what if pyramid scheme? And nobody is meant to call that out. They're just like, yeah, that never fails. Anyway, Dame Caroline over here said that the immigration centre in Gosport will bring 200 jobs, a boost for the area. So just build more, and more, and more, until the pyramid is very big. Then you'd have much more jobs. You lunatic!
Is less like a pyramid and more like a house of cards, that can come tumbling down at any moment?
Just have more babies and then import them. And then what if we just keep shifting the migrants around the world? Like a carousel.
Like we're laundering immigrants.
Yeah, if we launder the immigrants, then we actually never run out of immigrants. Then we can keep opening more and more immigration centres.
We just need to scrub these immigrants clean.
One more job. It's not like this entire industry is a complete parasite on the British worker, and we're having our money stolen for this kind of money laundering. No. Instead, this is all totally legit, not a pyramid scheme. Trust me, bro. Some news on Gosport as well. It's 7% foreign-born in the latest census. Check that out. Next door, you got Plymouth at 17%, and the next to them, Southampton at 25% foreign-born. Don't worry about that.
That's just like foreign-born as well. That's not accounting any children that they might have had, I assume.
So if we launder more, we'll get those numbers higher, and then more gooder.
I mean, I am in favour of cleaning the immigrants. I just don't think they'd be happy about it.
What? But I'm saying if we get more immigrants, more good.
Oh, all right. Okay, sorry. I forgot the central theme here.
I can't believe you would think anything else. Anyway, the Home Office has now decided that they're going to stop telling anyone how many are coming in. I ain't kidding.
Treason.
Home Office won't say how many migrants arrive illegally. They don't know. Or they don't keep the numbers, or they're just not telling you.
We stopped keeping track a long time ago.
In case you're wondering what this is about, it turns out, breaking into England, a crime.
Nah.
I didn't think so either. Turns out, was made illegal. Pretty recently.
I was going to say, it must have been recent.
Well, it was, but they just don't enforce the law because everyone seems to be on the payroll. Since 28th of June 2022, it has been a specific crime to knowingly arrive in the United Kingdom without proper permission. The penalty is up to 4 years in jail. Right, the BBC. Oddly based from the BBC. So how many of the 27,000 people who have arrived since the law changed in June have been arrested or charged with illegal arrival? These people have all committed an offence, so how many have been charged? So what happened when I asked the Home Office how many people had been arrested or charged with illegal arrival? It wouldn't tell me. It wouldn't even tell me if they had numbers that could even be disclosable. Just in case you're wondering, all the crap you get from Conservative MPs telling us about how, blah, 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 legal reasons. It is already a crime. All of these people could be charged with the offence they have committed. They just are not. They just don't do it. They could. 27,000 people right there who could all be charged with a crime and immediately deported because they are foreign criminals. Legal problem solved. What if we just don't charge them?
Have you considered that might be racist?
Well, indeed, says one Albanian.
Oh, well, I must defer to our gracious and almighty gods.
Yeah, I mean, if there's really a moral leader in the world, it's the Albanians. Anyway, Albanian migrant says here, I wish I'd never tried to enter the UK illegally. Has he learnt his lesson?
I wish he'd never tried as well.
Did he realise it was morally wrong to just, break into a country without permission? In the same way that if you break into a dude's house, you're the bad guy. Quote, I didn't seek asylum. I told them I was an economic migrant, said Artan.
Get out.
They gave us plastic bags with our belongings, and I was told you'll be arriving in Tirana tomorrow.
If only we could do this with literally everyone.
Here's the thing. He tells us his story, and his story is just a litany of how bad things are. He says he paid Kurdish people smugglers £3,500 to get across. Small amount of money. Every Albanian gets paid that every month, I heard. So I'm sure he couldn't have used that money for anything else.
I mean, I think they're involved in, if I remember correctly, some quite lucrative businesses. What was it? Coffee shop waiters, Pret.
Yeah, they run Pret.
The
Albanians are known for running Pret.
That's it. Yeah.
I think actually it's the Albanians who run the world.
I think they run the sugar business that supplies Pret.
Do the math real quick though. $4,000 per guy, 100 guys in the boat.
That's a lot of money.
$400,000 per boat. And then there are some days where 1,000 people arrive. That's $4 million a day.
There's no wonder they do it.
Tax free. Remember that.
And even if they do get picked up, nothing seems to happen.
No. So you times that. I mean, it's just you're looking at hundreds of millions of pounds.
Like, we're in the wrong business, Callum.
When I say to you, I do not believe there's no corruption going on, and I do believe that people are being paid at this point for this to allow it to go on. I ain't kidding. There's enough money to pay them.
There's obviously bribing going on. Come on.
Anyway, The traffickers were armed with knives and pistols. They were repeatedly threatening us, saying not to film anything and not even to smoke cigarettes as the light would give away our location. The thing is, they shouldn't have bothered. Because, as Artan tells us himself, the French don't care. We pay them all that money, they literally do not give a crap. The quote, here's: "A French police boat appeared 20 minutes into our journey. Did they arrest them? Did they send them back to France? They accompanied us from a distance of maybe 200 meters, just observing, which reassured us. They stayed for 3 hours. 3 hours.
So they got an escort service.
The French police sat for 3 hours, 300 meters away, staring at this boat. Hello.
Oh, bonjour.
Then we crossed into UK waters and called the British police. Artam recalls how the British authorities helped them get ashore safely. They told us that they were coming to get us, and that we mustn't panic. They behaved well and seemed very welcoming and polite." Well, of course there was. There's 400 grand a boat. What, is it literal cargo? "We jumped on the UK police boat and we got the life vests. I said to the woman interviewing me, I know I have entered illegally, but I have not come here for fun. I have come here because I want to work. I didn't seek asylum. I was told I was an economic migrant. My father is disabled. For 15 years, he's been living as a disabled person on a disabled pension, not enough to buy his own medication. I put it to him that he'd already reached the UK illegally," the interviewer says here, and Artam responds, "Yes, of course I did." "Well then, bye-bye. Au revoir. Have a good time." He says, if you enter a country without proper documentation, visa stamps, of course you are entering illegally. He added, "Yes, there are legal ways, but I was in a hurry." I tell everyone, look, go talk to them. They know they're taking the piss. They know that we are just, like, losers, frankly, who just won't enforce the law. We have a law on the books that this is legal. Just don't enforce it, because why would we? We're all getting paid out of this. Oh, sorry, we're not. They are. And you have this guy here who's just like, well, I was in a hurry, so why wouldn't I? "I went the quickest and cheapest way," he says, as if he's looking on, like, Ryanair.com. "The visa should be cheaper, but I needed help with the application." Because, what do you mean you can't visa? It's a visa application, not that hard. "And people charge more than that for the dinghy journey." It's like, okay. Okay, then. Yeah, they all know they're taking the piss. I can't make this point any harder. This whole thing is corrupt. People are presumably getting paid to allow this to go on. Why did the French police sit for 3 hours, 200 meters away from that boat Artem was in, and just say hi? Not arrest them, not take them back to France. Why, when the British police got them, did they not charge them with the crime that's on the books? Who knows? 400
and
grand
they
a
only
boat.
charged this guy when he's like, "Oh, by the way, I'm
But they
an
didn't charge him.
Oh, well, they just got rid. Well, they kicked him out, but
They deported him.
They deported him
Because he told the
but
truth.
only because he said that. If he'd just gone, "I'm here to claim asylum," they'd have gone, "Oh, poor baby, what a good boy you are. Let's get you in a hotel, all expenses paid."
Yeah, that's only Artan's failure here. One of the reasons Artan was deported was that he was honest about his reasons for travelling to the UK. He did not try and claim asylum. He insisted that he was there to work. There we are. And you know what you've also said with that sentence? You are admitting that all the other offenders and liars are literally just criminals who have broken in because we won't apply the law to them, and they know it. That's the way the things are going. Artan readily admits that he broke UK law, and that's why he was deported. As well as being flown home, he is now banned from every other European nation for the next 3 years, as if that matters to a man who breaks the law openly.
Yeah, only 3 years as well. Great.
So, oh no, I better not break the law.
Oh, I best
Who's a
not,
criminal?
I best not break back into France. They might escort me to the border of
Yeah.
England.
And just to end this off, we're just going to check out those hotels, because remember, those hotels are usually used for people who are, say, lost their house, or they're between council houses, or, you know, they need emergency supports. The government used to step in and say, okay, we'll give you a hotel until we can find you a place to be, you know, wife, 3 kids, or homeless people who are trying to get back into society, get them off the drugs.
And these were English people.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, so if we go to the next one here, we can see a bunch of homeless people have been kicked out of a hotel to make way for 34 criminal beggars who, well, you know...
Treason.
I was in a hurry, as Artan says. We'll end this off with just Tom Harwood time. Let's enjoy ourselves, because it's the worst take machine who's at it again. Immigration plus integration equals healthy economy, happy society.
Treason.
As long as it's legal, he says.
Piss off, Tom.
The integration into what? Like, yeah, there you go, Brent. There's like over 50% of them are foreign born. I'm sure they'll integrate well into the UN They've got nothing else. And then we'll just check out the numbers from Tom, who thinks that everything is fine because he apparently still lives in like 2010. The next one here. 200,000 net immigration is not high or a surge or even an increase. It's been far above that for almost every year since 2005. That's when British history began. Anyway, thank you, local idiot. It's always nice to check it out. Otherwise,
local man soils self in public.
But I mean, it is good to have another 200,000 gods in our country. It is fantastic, and I'm sure we'll welcome Artan back.
There's one thing we know about gods: it's the more the better.
Indeed, and God bless you all. If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as the premium hangouts we do, this one on Biden's AI Bill of Rights. If you'd like to find out what else we're putting out, you can follow us on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.